Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast, where we explore consciousness, creation, existence, and evolution through conversations with the universal beings that created everything. Hi, I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is part 120 of the story of creation. And we've been exploring the story of creation, not from any text that's been written by a human, but direct with universal beings. So they're sharing wisdom with all of us. So this is live in front of a live audience. This recording is, and it's an experience so that not only are we hearing the information from universal beings, they're not just downloading it. I'm not channeling them, right? Channeling, means that I am not participating, and yet I'm not changing their information. So I'm allowing the information to come through, and my energy, my curiosity will allow for more information and for the information to keep flowing in different directions. So, that whole concept of universal communication versus channeling, definitely a conversation for another day. But ultimately, I just wanted to explain this is not channeling. This is universal communication, communicating exactly how we as humans were created to communicate with universal beings so that we can access not only truth, but the information that we need to participate in existence, how we were created to, right? Because we're created to explore our potential, to explore existence and see if and how and where we can expand it. So in order to do that, we need to understand existence. We need to have full access to everything in existence in order to expand it, right? So that's, just knowing that is the truth, or the proof, if you will, that we need to understand that nothing can be hidden from us. That's a whole lie. It's just another illusion, because everything, the basis of existence is that everything is available to every single universal being in existence. That means every being from this universe. And so for those to even entertain the concept of coming here and participating in the control and manipulation that humanity has endured really for the last 50,000 years, it's not, it hasn't been going on since the beginning of time. And it certainly isn't just a couple thousand years as recorded in the Bible. It's understanding that control and manipulation goes back a lot longer. But the bigger picture is understanding who did it and why. Why would anybody want to control humanity? And that's really the biggest question, right? Why would anybody want to control humanity? And the answer is really, really simple. Because they can. That's it. They wanted to see if they could. And it turns out we followed along. That feeling of, I had that experience when I went to a theme park, about 8 or 9 years ago. Oh no, it was longer. My son's 12. It was like 15 years ago. But when you're waiting in line for a ride, right? And you're going through these metal bars that they have. So there's, hundreds and hundreds of people lining up for each ride. But it was this feeling of, this is what it feels like in life, is literally, we're going to be guided through here and we're going to go this way. And when we get to the front of the line, we're still going to be told what to do. We can't just choose, right? You're hoping you're going to get the seat you want and the experience you want, but it's always this hope, right? And so ultimately, what we're at this place now of understanding that all of those experiences, right? This story of creation has really started to break this down, that all of these experiences that we've had that make us feel like we're participating in a world where we don't have control is really the foundation and the basis for recognition that we're being controlled. Okay. Because it's it's interesting because as humans, we've been taught to maintain control, to have control at all times, to search for control, to plan so that you're in control. And ultimately, that's the gift that they brought here. When I say they, in this instance, it's they're beings that are not from this universe. Okay. So when they were explaining just a minute ago about understanding that humans and universal beings, so beings from our universe, have access to every aspect of existence itself, right? That's what consciousness is. It is literally the library of existence. It is the record of everything. So if you want to know something, you just allow yourself to tap into existence, or to consciousness rather, and you get it. You get that information. It comes right to you. It's not held back. It's not hidden. It's just right there. But the other part is you don't have to carry around encyclopedias. You don't have to carry around a computer so you can connect to Google, right? Consciousness, that's ultimately where the internet came from, right? They mimicked the concept of consciousness itself. Let's create an information place. And so that's the other part, right? Okay, so it's really cool because they're showing me that the internet itself was designed to ensure that humans remain disconnected from truth. Okay. And when I say truth, I mean, again, consciousness, all the information in existence that you need, want, everything. And that's the whole point is, we have this feeling where we want truth. We use that word truth because we're tired of being lied to. Okay. But when you bring it back, you begin to understand that, yes, it's truth, but truth is information about specific events, experiences, intentions, understanding existence that you not only want, but you understand that you don't have the answers. You see? So when you're saying, I want the truth, there's a lot of people throwing that word around, right? Give me the truth. I want the truth. Expecting that someone's just going to show up and tell them everything. But that's not what truth is. Truth is original information about existence. And when I say original, I mean completely undistorted, unmanipulated. And what that really means is it's pure. Okay. And so what humans are really searching for is pure information about whatever is in their space that they realize, oh, this isn't pure. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be about your own existence. It could be about your relationship. It could be about your work. It could be about your home. It could be about your community. It doesn't matter, but it's first and foremost understanding and recognizing that your problem isn't someone's not giving you truth. The challenge here is that you're not allowing yourself to recognize that you have to come home to get the information you need. And this is the part where people are freaking out. And when I say freaking out, I mean they're agitated, they're annoyed, they're on edge, they're frustrated, they're angry. Because coming home means you have to come back into alignment with your soul and with existence. You can't live in a world that's not aligned with that. You can't. You can't live in a world that wants you to pretend you're something other than you are, to allow you to sit there and go, I need truth. I need truth. You're never going to get it. That person who's demanding truth is not aligned with truth. You're not aligned with your origins and your existence. You're aligned with anger and frustration and the manipulation that was brought here. And guess what? As humanity started to rise and started to remember who they were, and we'll get to we've talked about them in a number of different episodes, recently. I think the first where they were introduced was 112. If you're interested in who they are, because this is not reptilians, this is not, all the different beings, the satanics and all these different beings that people keep talking about that brought this here. No, all of these beings participated in different ways, but none of them brought this here. This is another group of beings. But what's most important is understanding. This is what they want to clarify today. Okay. Is that if you're still sitting here searching for truth, you're looking for the wrong thing, because truth has been manipulated, okay, into you thinking you're going to demand information from someone, from an organization. It doesn't really matter. But the result is the same. It's you focused on, I don't have the information. I can't get the information because I don't have clearance, because I'm not important enough, because I'm not beautiful enough, because I'm not special enough, because someone doesn't love me, because someone doesn't trust me. That's what you're trying to use to access this truth. Those feelings, those emotional reactions that were bred in you, right? So as humanity started to rise, so there was more people recognizing something's really not right here. Guess what they did? They created a means of transferring information that ensured they didn't have to continue to create more content, to create more opportunities to suppress you, to shush you. This is the words they're using, shush you. It's highly technical. So ultimately, what did they do? They created the internet. Period. They created the concept of the World Wide Web, the concept that humans need, right? So first we had the telephone, which was fine. That's the whole concept that humans need in order to communicate with humans at a distance. We needed an artificial source. That was the telephone. Okay. And they created, the way they're showing me is a litany. I don't even know the full definition of that word, but a litany of information in which we would go to, right? So before the internet, it was books, teachers, educators, anyone in a position of power. And you still see the results of that today, right? I just saw this morning, there was someone's title for their YouTube video, and it was, the collapse of the economic world is coming, and no one's talking about it. And it was like, it's a place where something like contractors can make the same amount as lawyers. And I just sat there and I went, well, isn't that interesting? I mean, clearly they're trying to get attention because they're not comfortable in just sharing truth. Here's another perfect example of it. But what's fascinating is the fact that we have this concept of classes. Why? Why would a lawyer make more? And why would we just assume that a lawyer would make more than other professions? Because we were told that it does. We were told that if you're in this position where you spent years of your life in an education system, you are more valuable to humanity. So that's a truth that so many people accepted, that now that it's shifting and changing, the truth is being revealed. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what they're showing me. They want you to feel this. Okay. Is truth isn't it's not in the information that you're searching for. It's in the existence. It's in existence itself. Like it's in the vibration and the frequency of how you operate in your day-to-day life. So if you believe that someone has more than you, is more open. Maybe they're just more open to receiving money. Maybe that's your belief. The truth is, every human is meant to experience the abundance of existence. It's that simple. And whatever abundance you're not receiving, it's a result of what you have been taught to believe. Okay? Your beliefs are determining, and they're actively creating. Okay? You can go back and look at how humans and universal beings create. But your beliefs are actually creating the experiences and the life that you are living. Right. And so that's where you go, okay, that's great. That's a great concept. But what do I do with that information? How can I use that information to propel myself forward? Okay. And so this is the next it's the next biggest question. Why? Because we hold a lot of concepts. We understand right from wrong. We understand what truth is. But our frequency and vibration shifts and changes the closer it gets to truth. Okay? And what you're really fearing when you don't want truth, even though your brain is like, yeah, I want it, I want it, I want it. The moment your frequency and vibration starts to shift, when it starts to expand into the energy of your potential, you start to shut it down. You start to look for ways to actively avoid truth, discount truth, debunk truth. Because inside of that experience, you know that if you allow yourself to accept that level of truth, you will never be the same again. Not only will you never be the same again, but your life will have to change. You will have to become the person that not only have you always wanted to be, but you'll have to become the person you know you're meant to be. And we've been taught to wear that role as a burden. It's become a burden because we've been taught that feeling energy is ridiculous. It's hokey. That recognizing truth, we've been taught truth has to be in black and white. It has to be on a piece of paper, and it has to be proven by some form of authority in a physical representation, right? Either a scientific person or someone in authority, right? I mean, even look at how governments, right? They create laws, and it has to be approved by someone in authority. Well, humans are self-governing. We really know right from wrong. Do we need someone to tell us? No. But the people who do need to be reminded are the ones who have disconnected so far because that truth hurts so much because of the disconnection in their reactions to the world that they're living in. And this is really what it comes down to, okay? Is these beings came here. They came here specifically because they wanted to explore exactly what universal beings are created to do. They wanted to come here and explore if they could control humanity. So what was the first thing they had to do? Was remove our connection from the universe, from our life force. And I know that most people are sitting there going, yeah, my life force is what I put in my mouth every day. And, it's whether I can get up out of the chair and whatever it is you're physically doing. That's not your life force. Nope. That's just the things your body does as a result of what you tell it to do. But the whole point is, what are you telling yourself to do? Because we have an internal navigation system that is based on and aligned with existence. You can't break up with it. You can't disconnect from it. You're 100% connected to universal existence always. That's why you know when something's not right. You know when something's off, and you know when it's not truth. Why? Because you're actually already in alignment with truth. This is the point, guys. This is the point, is so many people are out there running around searching for truth, but it's already inside of you. You just have to acknowledge it. And all of those feelings of dis-ease and discomfort, they're because you know the experience that is coming at you isn't truth. So it doesn't mean you need to search for truth. It means you need to acknowledge you're already aligned with it, guys. You were created that way. Does that make sense? Can you feel that? Because that's where we have to get to, that place where we can acknowledge it again. Because this whole rise and overtaking the not good beings in this universe that came here to play, there's not that many of them, but their impact has reached billions. Why? Because they created a system that ensured it controls everybody. It manipulates everyone into remaining controlled, right? We know this. But if you're out there still searching for truth, still truth seeking, you need to recognize that it's already right there. It's on the tip of your tongue when you want to say something and then you hold back. It's that thought that wants to come in, and then all of a sudden you can't find it again because your brain is so focused on here's a fear, here's a manipulation, here's a belief. You know, truth isn't elusive. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. It's everywhere. It's in everything because it was created that way, because existence was created that way. You want to know the truth about anything, just ask. The answers are right there. The challenge is you're not asking questions. You're not asking the right questions, and you're not allowing yourself to acknowledge that the answers are coming. You just don't want them. So we are now in a phase of not only recognizing truth, we're in a phase of remembering our origins and allowing ourselves to reconnect with who we really are. And that's what this really comes down to is, you want truth, but you don't want everything that comes along with the truth because they're showing me it's like locational truth. And what they mean by that is you want truth as it pertains to this relationship experience and that particular experience in the relationship, or, this experience with your work and this experience with your home and whoever it is you're working with. You want it locationally. It has to be directioned how you want it. But the truth is, when you get that information, the truth about what that situation in your relationship is, it means that it's also going to show you who you're being, and it's going to show you who you're meant to be in that relationship and in that experience. And if that experience is meant to unfold in that way or not, or who you need to become in order to fulfill your soul mission here, which oftentimes mean that the person that you think you're meant to be with, you're not meant to be with them at all. Or maybe you think you don't want to be with them anymore, but you're meant to be with them. You see what I mean? That's why we don't want truth, because we only want it, but I just want to know why this person's doing that, or if they're cheating on me, or if they're stealing, or if they're gambling, or if they're doing something they shouldn't be. We don't want the whole truth because we recognize and understand that that truth is going to trigger awarenesses that we are not yet ready to accept. That means that we have to change who we be in the world. We have to change what we eat, who we eat, when we eat with. Maybe we just don't eat anymore. Maybe we become breatharian because we know that that's how we're meant to exist. Maybe you have to leave the dynamics of your relationship because you understand that you being in that role is not allowing you to become who you're meant to be. But you want to stay there because it's safe and it's comfortable and it's a soft place to hide, not land, hide. That's what it comes down to. When we are seeking truth, we're hiding from who we are. You're hiding from the power that flows through you. We've been so manipulated into thinking that power and leadership means that someone else is going to control and manipulate us. Why? Because that's the life we've lived. So every time your power starts to come up, that energy, right? Power is just recognition of the energy that flows through you, because in that energy is all the information you need, right? It's like you have a direct phone line or internet line to the universe and every aspect of existence that you want. And the moment it starts flowing in, you start expanding. Your awareness expands, your intentions expand, how you participate expands. And that starts to make you nervous. It makes you uncomfortable. Why? Because you decided that it makes other people uncomfortable for you to be who you are. You decided that. So what if someone says, wow, they're too big for their boots or too expressive or too, they don't understand how it really works. They're over there and they're in, their brains are not connected, whatever they want to say. It doesn't matter. And that's the whole point, is when you connect with that energy, you'll stop caring. And it doesn't mean you're not going to have compassion anymore. It means you'll stop caring so you will no longer be manipulated. And that's how we get out from underneath this. It's not that you're not caring. Your whole concept of caring is based on how can I react to everybody else's control and manipulation? That's not caring. How can I care for them? How can I make sure everybody else is comfortable? That's not caring. It's understanding that existence is here to be explored. You can't explore it unless you're at full power and full capacity. Full capacity does not mean stuffing your brain full of information. Full power means you in full recognition that you are energy first. You were created as a soul frequency and vibration in this universe. And from that perspective and all the lives that you've had in preparation for this experience for the entirety of the human race, you came here so that you could move forward. So you could help participate in creating the future of human existence. And in order to do that, you have to have all the information that you've ever experienced. So that's all your past lives, but it's also the history and the origins of existence itself, the history and the origins of human existence, and the history and origins of the manipulation of human existence. Why do you need all of that? Because you can't create something new until you understand where we are, what's actually going on, and how to go forward. But you can't do that by demanding truth. It doesn't work. You can't do it by sleuthing out with the mind. Your mind will trigger your energetic self to step into resonance with truth. And then information comes to you. That's how people get hunches. And we're meant to. And for whatever reason, we've decided that when other people challenge our hunches, we back down. We go, yeah, you're right. It was just a feeling I had. That must have been crazy of me to think that I had a feeling about anything. Maybe we don't say that, but we certainly act like it. So what you're meant to do is take a deep breath and go, okay, when someone challenges you, stop disregarding yourself and go, okay, I see. They just showed me they're not fully ready for truth yet. How am I going to let that change me? I'm not. I'm still going to get truth, but I'm also going to be respectful of them. Thank you so much for your perspective. But I have to keep going over here. That's it. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be judgmental. Thank them. Thank them for everything. They literally, their intention was to protect you and keep you safe. But you now stepped into the truth of recognition that you don't need to be kept safe because you don't need to be protected from truth, because truth is no longer the evil thing that you think it is. It's no longer the predator. That's stepping into your power. Being angry at the other person for what they're doing and how they're holding you back from getting truth. Nobody has that power. You're directly connected to truth and the truth of existence and everything in existence. There is not a human being on this earth, the bad guys included, that has the ability to block you from truth. Nobody. But they can absolutely make sure that you're consumed in your emotional state and in a whole bunch of information that isn't actually important. Why would they do that? When you're consumed with that, you can't access truth. You won't allow it to come to you. Number one, because you don't believe you can get it. So you're literally running around. It's like a chicken with its head cut off. You're literally running in circles, looking for truth when it's right inside of you. It's inside of you. But you can't use your beliefs to navigate it. And that's the part that's tricky. That's the part that challenges you. You can't use the beliefs you've been taught in the education system or in the religious system, the medical system or the financial system or the governments. You can't use those systems to navigate your feelings. And this is where the huge disconnect is coming from, because people get a little bit of information from their soul and then they look it up on the internet. Well, that makes sense. I got a message and I got this name. Never heard the name before, so I thought I'd look it up. Oh, and it makes this much sense and this much sense. And then we start with our mind connecting the dots. But that's not how it works. I couldn't do what I'm doing if I did that. I've been doing this for 22 years. If every single little bit of information they gave me, I went and looked it up on the internet, I would not have gotten the information that I have. They literally gave me, it took me 12 years to explore self-worth because I asked what humanity's greatest challenge is, and they said self-worth. So I explored it for 12 years with universal beings, with human beings. And then they showed me how to heal it in a compressed way. It only takes a year after 50,000 years of manipulation. They figured out a way to heal it within a year. How cool is that? And there's other people selling courses to heal self-worth in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 5 months. Okay. I don't know where they got their information, but maybe the universal beings made it easier for them. You have to use your instincts to understand. I would never have been able to understand the concepts of the 9 fundamental universal energies: truth, joy, purity, compassion, respect, love, oh boy, balance, movement, and illumination. I never would have understood them. Because to me, when I first heard them, those were human words, and yet they weren't, because it was the energy coming through at the same time they were sharing the information. So how many times have I had conversations with people and they're like, oh, I love the energy of compassion. I love the energy of love, but their energy is not aligned with that. Their energy is aligned with the idea they have of what that energy is. It's the same thing as universal beings. I remember 20 years ago being in an event, and there was a whole bunch. There was like, when I say a whole bunch, I mean like thousands of universal beings showed up in the room. And this woman came up at the end. And at the beginning of the experience and the ceremony that we had, I was inviting different universal beings in so that we could focus on them. And at the end, she said, well, why didn't you invite Archangel Michael? He was here. Why didn't you talk about him? And I was like, well, there was thousands of beings that I didn't bring up their names. The ones that I brought the names up were the ones that universally they showed up and asked me to recognize them, because that was the experience that most of the people in the room needed to have. But this woman was angry. So she sat there for the whole thing thinking, wow, Michael's here. Michelle doesn't even know he's here. And that's crazy. How does she know what she's doing? So they weren't aligned with truth. They were aligned with anger and frustration and judgment. You see, that's the whole point, is for you to start to recognize, where are you blocking information from coming in? Where are you blocking truth from happening? I know I do it, and they show me when I do it. Is it comfortable? No, it's awe-inspiring. It's jaw-dropping. It's sometimes embarrassing, but it's never, ever, ever something I want to run from. Why? Because I understand the power of truth, and it doesn't matter how many people judge me. It doesn't matter how many family members it makes uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, I love my family members for who they are. If they have not yet reached that place where they can love me for who I am, that's okay. That's okay, because I'm over here holding space for them until they're ready. And does that mean that I'm thinking about them all the time and judging why they can't do it? No, I don't think about them at all. Why? Because I'm over here exploring the universe and getting more truth. It's way more fun than spending a minute of my time going, oh, I really wish that person would allow me to be more of their part of their life. Really? No. Because they showed me where they are. I don't want to be somewhere I'm not interested in being, where someone doesn't want me to be there. Ooh, just ooh. And I don't have time. I don't want to waste the little bit of time we have here in this life on hoping someone will pick me, someone will love me. No, because I love me all the way. I love my origins all the way back to existence, not just my family, not just generations of my family, all the way back through existence to the truth of who I am, the reason why I exist. I've spent more than 20 years actively pursuing my purpose, not just searching for it, hoping someone will give me the truth of what my purpose is. It unfolds every single day through the work that I do, through learning with universal communication, through the relationships that I have, the homes that I live in, the communities that I live in. Every single conversation I have is the universe's way of giving me an opportunity to allow my purpose, my reason for existing, to unfold. That's where I'm focused. Right there. And when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm struggling, it's because my brain hasn't yet allowed the truth to come through. So I know that. And that's that moment where I start to feel uncomfortable. I don't go demanding truth from someone else. I surrender. And I allow myself to accept truths that I haven't wanted to see, hear, or feel before. Why? Because I know it'll make me stronger. Not stronger so I can deal with more, stronger so I can see more truth, so I can integrate more truth into my life. Because the more truth that is integrated into me, the more exploring of existence that I can do. I can actually expand existence if I'm embodying truth. Why? Because it's me. It's me inside of me, my energy that's going to expand existence. You're meant to expand existence. So the people standing between you and that potential future with their arms crossed across their chest because they don't think you can do it. They think that your hunches don't make sense. Are you going to keep following them? Every time you let someone's opinion of you determine who you're going to be in the world, it makes you a little bit sadder. It crumbles your self-worth. And it hurts. Do you know why? Because you're already connected with the truth that you're magnificent and you're meant to do incredible things and you're meant to do whatever it is that you know you're meant to do in that moment. And that person didn't believe you. They didn't believe in you and they didn't trust you. So instead of wasting your time walking around being hurt, being frustrated, being angry, being resentful, start allowing yourself to look into your future. Look at it. It's just potential. Nothing's there yet. And everything has the ability to be there, but you got to put it there. Anger and resentment, it's hollow, barren ground that you're creating. Pure potential, it's filled with joy and love and compassion and respect, balance and movement, joy and illumination. All the 9 fundamental energies that you have inside of you. Every single one of those energies is in there for a reason. Why? Because it gives you another superpower to overcome the control and manipulation of human existence. It's brilliant. The plan during creation by the Creator, and he says very specifically, he says, I was very specific in creation. I knew what you needed to succeed, and I made sure you had everything. Nothing is missing from inside of you. Nothing is missing from what you need to create, what you want to create. Nothing is missing. Nothing. So when you think you don't have enough time, you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough people, money, support, that's an illusion. Because everything you need to succeed is not only right there in front of you, it's already inside of you. You have a magnetic force stronger than anything physical in existence, stronger than any manipulation, stronger than any control. Your job is to align with it and allow it to program out exactly into the universe what it is you want to create. You can't do that with your mind. You do it by asking your soul, communicating with the universe, who you're meant to be. And when you allow that frequency and that vibration to fill every single cell in your body, you become magnetic to everything that is meant to fulfill that experience. That's where you become millionaire, billionaire. That's where you become surrounded with the people who make you feel incredible because you're vibrating at the frequency and vibration of your potential, and that is aligned with universal existence. You have to reprogram your magnetic charge, the magnetic force that is you. How do you do that? Aligning with truth. You got to let it in, even when it makes you uncomfortable, because that is your superpower. That's how you're going to let it in right now. So give it a shot. It's not going to be comfortable. If it's comfortable, you're doing the same thing. Okay. There should be some level of discomfort before the euphoria. And this is not euphoria as in idyllic world. You know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we're not supposed to be living in utopia. Here's the truth. Okay. Universal beings are explorers. There's nothing comfortable about being an explorer. Nothing. It's always changing. You always have different experiences and opportunities coming to you. Why? So that you can explore what you're capable of, what your potential is, but also so you can expand existence and consciousness. So nothing about that is comfortable. But the moment that you have that experience, okay, that moment where the information comes in, it's uncomfortable. The truth of the situation, uncomfortable. But when you come back to the heart of who you are, why you exist, and why you had to have that experience, you raise your vibration. And when you get to that level of seeing that experience as not as something that happened to you, but that someone did something someone did to you, but rather an opportunity for you to see more, learn more, and become more, you step into becoming more. If you're walking around with resentment, nope, you're not more. If you're angry, you're frustrated, you're scared, not more. You're still in the emotional embodiment of your reaction. And it's time for you to accept more truth. It's a big one, guys. I know this is part 120 of the story of creation. I am Michelle Vickers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. That means you'll get new episodes as soon as they're released. And if you're interested and you want to learn more, hop over to the website. It's michellevickers.com. I know we're in a world right now where 99% of what we see on the internet, it's hard to trust. It's hard to believe. Just keep using your instincts. Okay. And make sure that you feel your way through everything. Okay. Feel your way. That's the key. And you've got to navigate the difference between emotions and feelings, because emotions will tell you all the wrong things because they're completely aligned with the control and manipulation. Listen, I could literally talk about this for 20 years straight, 24 hours a day, and still never be able to explain the whole thing. Okay. We're literally doing this with the universal beings to give you the snapshots and the snippets that you need to start to create that foundation that you can start to take your life back, right? To come back into alignment with who you're meant to be. If that's enough, then that is brilliant. And if you want more, like I said, come on over to the website, give it a look. But if you're new here, check out the story of creation from the beginning, because it's incredible. Bye for now.